can Splyce, for once, decide on one kind of composition to play? Because almost every single game seems to change. Like Nisbeth, as an example, has played 8 different supports. Why are you playing 8 different supports when you haven't shown that you mastered one of them yet? I understand if you have like 2 picks that your main comfort picks, but then you're trying to expand it into maybe a 3rd or 4th pick to adapt some new strategies and new compositions. That's okay. Don't play so many different picks, because every single time Splyce does something new, they go into the game and they look like a team who's not 100% sure what to do with this composition. So I kind of want to see them, you know, put an assassin in the mid lane so you can snowball from there, get a split pusher for Wunderwear, and you have like comfort picks in that sense. Yeah,
I feel like both, or rather, not just Nisbeth, but yeah, Sencux has done the same. So Wunderwear has done. They picked 6, 7 different champions. I mean, this is definitely a team that is having, I feel like, a bit of an identity crisis while they're still new in the LCS. You see a lot of the bans, we're running through these really quick, so I'll just lay them out there. The Lulu, Ryze, and Lucian off the table. Saw 100% pick ban last week. On the other side, it's Alistar and Kalista.
Lucian has been first picked in both the games. Splyce is thinking now, do we ban Poppy, do we ban Corki? Come in, do we leave both open and take a trade, give them one of them? Like, that is their general considered super strong picks right now. It's like Poppy, Corki, Kalista. But it's very normal across the board from these. So basically the reason why is the Splyce are banning Bard is it's somewhat of a throwaway. Obviously they're respecting what Mithy can do on it, but they want to have as many OPs open to try and get 2 of them in this rotation. GP was open as well.
First one, and you know, he has been rocking a pretty ridiculous pick rate when his bans have been, when he hasn't been banned, that is. And some teams have definitely regretted it, but that does leave up the Corki. It's immediately grabbed by Splyce, and they also go to Braum. It's a champion that's been seeing a lot of use here in Europe.
He's been widely considered probably the 2nd best support now, with Alistar being banned in almost every single game. So many of the players are picking Braum very early. Mithy is a great Braum player himself. The problem is now, for Origen, like, do you want a Poppy as well? That you can go potentially support a jungle if you want to go GP top, or do you go GP mid lane? Like, okay, right. It's a luxury problem for Origen. They're like, oh, there's so many good picks if you want all of them. They're obviously flexing around. I'm looking at a GP mid and a Poppy top lane at the moment with what they're building. And of course, Nidalee, who's become a power pick in the jungle now. One of the fastest clear times. Can one-shot the Rift Scuttler. Fantastic at grouping with your AD carry and fast pushing on towers. That's the way you play with Nidalee now.
We were seeing how much damage that was doing in the hands of Spirit. We'll see if Amazing can pick that one back up. And OG definitely packing a lot of punch this time around too. And I will be curious to see what they round their composition out yet. I don't expect
I feel like teams are kind of hyping up Braum a little bit too much. Taking him in your first rotation with Poppy as well, being available, to me is a little bit surprising from Splyce. Again, Braum is a good support, but there's a lot of good supports in the pool. Still, like, a Thresh is open for Mithy if you want to play the Tahm Kench, if you want to play that support against some of the pick potential that a Quinn can offer.
Well, with the Quinn now, that goes over likely to Wunderwear, and he had one game on it, not entirely successful. They talked about him a little bit on the desk. He's a guy that gets so much gold for his team, but it's usually because he's relegated to farming in the sides, and then he just doesn't really get a whole lot done in terms of damage. Maybe with the Quinn,
he's gonna do it.
Push.
The
on the other side, though,
he's played it in solo queue. We saw the pentakills. He's
also played Kindred.
Yeah, he's one of the Kindred AD carry
Hopefully
players.
He doesn't break it again.
Hopefully not.
Let's see if they pick that one up. I mean, it could go AD carry role. That seems very likely with the Nidalee, of course. But also curious to see if this Kennen ends up being locked in.
Poppy support, remember, is still an option. It hasn't been played in a while here in Europe, but it would then move to GP top and then pick a mid laner for PowerOfEvil and just take the Poppy down in the bottom lane.
Ah, no Jhin.
So no Jhin this time.
Double Yordles, though.
Okay.
For Origen, as they round out that composition, everything is made clear at the last minute, so we will be seeing that.
This is a LeBlanc game, though. This is a LeBlanc game for Splyce.
Yeah.
In order to set up a strong matchup in the mid lane, you put the Corki AD carry here, take him down the bottom lane, and you put a LeBlanc in the mid lane, and you try and dominate that 1v1. Because you have physical damage top lane anyway from the Quinn, so you're not going to stack too heavy on magic damage despite having Corki AD carries. I want to see this locked in 100%. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. When Splyce have gone off, it has been on Wunderwear, particularly in the hands of his LeBlanc. Just one game on it, but remember his KDA was crazy. Oh yeah, it was one of the 15.0. One of the best LeBlanc games we have seen in recent times here in Europe, for sure. Great performance overall. And it's what Splyce is relying on.
Yeah.
A mid laner who can get super fit and actually carry the games. I wonder if they're debating potentially moving Corki mid lane here. I'm trying to figure out what kind of composition they want to run, maybe an Ezreal AD carry, but I think this is the best they can do now to set up a strong pressure lane in mid. Bot lane is not going to be the strongest for Splyce, but it's not been a winning recipe for Splyce anyway, playing around Kobbe and Nisbeth.
Right.
They haven't been looking that outstanding in the 2v2.
And it's a safe bot lane, too. You've got the disengage capabilities of Braum. You've got Corki. Even when he's not mid lane, he's still getting a lot of damage done. Yeah, they'll be a little heavier on magic damage down there, but it doesn't matter. They've got Quinn in the top.
Yeah, now the problem for Splyce is going to be the fact that Origen with Tristana is obviously looking to really fast push these towers. You put Ahri in a side lane for pressure, you have GP in the other side lane for pressure, and global ulti, which is going to be super, super impactful in the game. And then Nidalee with Tristana is a great tower killing combo. Group together, range, buff up the Tristana with attack speed, and she can destroy these towers. And the wave clear on the side of Splyce is coming purely from Kobbe. And Corki's not able to one-shot the wave unless he has a big one, and it's basically the caster minion. So it always gives time for OG to get a few hits with Tristana. Just get a few seconds with the bomb. That's all you need on Tristana to keep chipping down these towers. So OG are definitely setting up to put a lot of tower pressure and then have the side lanes controlled. So Splyce, if they win the early game, they can stop that.
Yes, they can indeed. Well, with that, picks and bans all locked in. What do you guys think of this one at home? Tweet us at LOL Esports, hashtag OG win or Spy win. If you think Splyce can take a third win on the board, or will Peke's coaching debut be another one for Origen? We're about to find out. Let's load up onto the Rift and get it going. You see him there. You saw him on stage. And this Origen squad want to get back into this split.
And we have to remember, Origen said themselves that Peke is just filling in. He's not supposed to be the full-time coach or anything, but while they're trying to find a replacement...
Wrong region, guys. It's a few days away. It's all right. We'll give you a first pass. Don't do it again.
To Summoner's Rift.
Take a look as we load up. So far, so standard. Although, there's something a little out of the ordinary. The swaparoo for Splyce up in the top side, but they've left Wunderwear there as well, so very top-heavy.
This is a very old level 1 we've seen from some teams, where you want to send in your top laner here to kind of scout if anyone is trying to trade with him when he walks in and places a ward, and then you have your AD carry support coming from top side. Right now they're just hiding. They haven't shown where they're going, so even if OG were invading and getting deep vision, they wouldn't see where Splyce is sending these guys. Obviously very much signaling they want a lane swap on the side of Splyce. And don't want to risk it being spotted, but it's going to be standard lanes because OG is swapping to top side. So no one has any information on each other. It's just purely blindly swapped around.
I really want to pay attention to this mid lane because this is one of those cases where you've got Sencux, this new up-and-coming rookie who's had some troubles adjusting to the LCS, not so much as the rest of his team, on what is in one game effectively become a signature champion because of how well he played on it. Versus PowerOfEvil, who had that one game on Ahri, got caught so continuously and cost his team a whole lot. I hope he's learned his lesson because he's been doing great on these utility champions, but not as much on those assassins.
Well, Ahri is one of the safe blind picks you can go for. It's going to be a very tough laning phase though, because not only does LeBlanc do well into Ahri in the early stages of the lane, you're also running teleport now for PowerOfEvil. So you can see the setup Origen is building. It's 1-3-1 with Zven, Amazing, and Mithy together applying pressure on towers. What Kobbe can do when you're sieging on a tower is she just charges up her ulti. That's enough to force Splyce to back away from tower, otherwise they risk getting hit by that ulti and knocked back to base. And then you just buy time for Tristana to hit the tower over and over and over and over. That's all your composition is built to do. The way for Splyce to beat it is by winning the solo lanes. Kobbe's performance in this game almost barely, it doesn't really matter. He's almost just a wave clear machine.
Oh, he's like Corki.
Nothing else. Yeah, that's basically it. Sencux and Wunderwear are the two guys who need to win the lanes to stop this split push from ever happening.
We'll talk about those two in a little while, but right now Kobbe took a little bit of damage, poked back, chased away by Mithy, but so far so good as Trashy looks to grab himself some early crab for dinner. Amazing, a little bit low in his own jungle, won't be trying to contest that anytime soon. We'll talk about those bottom lanes since there's a slight lull in this one, but maybe I have to hold off if Trashy is looking to make his way up as Sencux goes in, but he immediately backs on out.
Very good trade from PowerOfEvil. It's all about landing the charm. Let's see top though.
Around the side, the caught Mithy, he knocks it to Trashy immediately, and they have to turn tail and run.
Always the problem when you gank something that has a dash that can target towards you. So once you appear behind them, you actually open up for Poppy to then dash to you. And therefore Mithy saves his flash.
Yep.
Either you borrow in and then instant flash over on the Poppy to knock her up and therefore not giving that opportunity. But Trashy was just a little bit too far away to actually flash in and knock her up. So therefore gank doesn't work. And he showed himself topside. Not that it's changing a whole lot. Other than it allows Amazing to farm on bottom side, but he's in his own jungle, so it's not really doing anything.
Yeah, Amazing's definitely taking his little time on this one. Going for just a full clear, as you know, the Nidalee can do very early on. You saw the strength of the Aegis mastery that is becoming more and more common among these junglers in this past week or two. And giving a little bit of extra sustain to him. But on the other hand, we have seen Nidalee's fall very flat. When they don't get damage done early, you'll be curious to see if he can make an impact like Trashy's been trying to. Yeah,
Trashy, well, that was the first gank. He actually started topside, so he didn't take a blue buff. That's why Amazing is now walking in and spawning it. He saw that Trashy gank with only red buff that early in the game, so you know he didn't start blue. And because he showed topside and then had to back after, because he hadn't gone back either, he just cleared and ganked. It actually allowed Amazing now to path into the jungle very safely.
Got a 3-buff.
He's gonna spot him on a ward at the Grump as well, if Trashy goes down to check the blue buff.
Yeah.
And that's just Amazing here, just taking advantage of an early gank that didn't pay off, and the information it gives him of like, okay, has he backed yet? What buff does he have? I know exactly now where he started and what he needs to do next, and now he can spot him.
We'll be spotting it, he clears it away, but going back to this bottom side, as there's a little bit of a trade in the top. Wunderwear, you said he needed to win his lane. Right now, he's definitely doing it in the CS department. 16 up for Soaz to back and then burn his TP. He'll be going back to pick those items up. Really want to keep an eye on Wunderwear. He has been a very low-impact player for this Splyce team, but Soaz, he's also been slumping the split.
Yeah, definitely. Two top laners has not been able to do a whole lot yet. Wunderwear definitely is the guy we're looking at in this game, because we talked about it. This Quinn has to pay off for Splyce. Because if they're winning the side lanes and putting pressure in these side lanes, they stop Origen from grouping with Niels, also with Zven and Amazing on towers, because they have to worry about constantly being flanked by a Quinn coming through the river, LeBlanc moving down through river as well, and that stops the siege from ever happening, and that 1v1 pressure. Wunderwear is off to a good start. I need to see him get some assistance so he can keep pushing it in, because otherwise he might get ganked by Amazing. And you can see Trashy's actually on the bottom side now, just staying around for Wunderwear so he knows he can play aggressive.
Some tunnels, but this one might be bait for Soaz as he gets the grasp of the Undying proc. Gangplank definitely not known for his phenomenal early game, but once he gets rolling, he can output a whole heaping ton of damage. Wunderwear is giving a little bit of respect to Soaz here, not trying to push too far forward as Trashy has left the area, going back into his own jungle.
Yeah, GP does sustain well with the grasp as we saw before. OG made a typical move we saw around World, pushing in your lane up top, and then you swap AD carry support bottom side, and you just hard push it in, and you send the rest of your team down for assistance, and you show up 4 members. Very quickly, Splyce is ready. Nisbeth is coming in, but is he in time?
They were ready for that one, and Splyce are backed away from the turret. They now know they can defend this one with 3 members here. The barrel pops, but Soaz takes a power shot in retaliation. A little bit more damage, but they've allowed free push here for Kobbe on the top side. And there's a teleport spent for PowerOfEvil to get back to mid.
So it's a very telegraphed play, and I really like it from Origen. When you push out your lane and you recall, you don't take the tower, and then you just rush to the other side of the map. Jungler comes in for assistance with your dual lane, but Splyce this time were ready for it. Nisbeth was there on the bottom side. Trashy was there. Stops anything from happening, and now actually allows Kobbe to push out top side and deny some farm from Soaz because he had no TP, used it in the lane. So good response from Splyce. One of the problems they have shown before is the lack of understanding of what is the other team about to do. This one they read.
Was very telegraphed, as you said, but they were able to read it like that. Now, taking a look at where it's all back as the laners have swapped back to their original places. Fairly equal levels across the board. Soaz, as he got back a little quicker than Wunderwear, has a slight level advantage there. And Amazing is actually down to Trashy, but it's still very, very even in this game, although OG have started to pull ahead about 400 gold.
There's actually a play I want to see happen from Wunderwear, and I would love to see it right here, right now, instead of going back to top lane. Because there's no TP for Soaz, he had the option to rush bot lane instead of a gank on Mithy. But that again is a risky play. He wants to take one. Lane.
One more. Sencux runs into the spear, gets clone popped, and he's down. That's first blood for PowerOfEvil.
Not exactly the start Splyce were hoping for in this mid lane. One of the lanes they were looking to dominate. The fault Wunderwear, he made the safe play. Obviously can't fault him, he just wanted to farm. Joe wanted the risky one, where you try and force plays with Quinn in the sense that because you're so fast, you path down to the bottom lane when there's no TP in the enemy top lane, and you instantly just force a play like 4v2 basically, and you kill them and you take tower and you speed up the game. Quinn wants the long lanes to roam on, but he just went top to pick up the big wave, so just pushing in, so definitely not a bad play.
He's doing some damage here to Soaz. He's got a flash, won't be able to finish him off, but man, that was close. Soaz soon to get that TP back. Wunder's going to be a little bit further behind him. Trashy now looking to contest this blue buff against Amazing, but it is smited away by him. So Trashy manages to secure that one in the final seconds of it all. We'll see if he runs into Amazing again. Doesn't want to take a fight at this point in time as he's on the retreat path. Looks to try to get away from the Rift Herald, who's not very happy about him hanging around in this pit.
Oh, pulls him as well, got a bit of extra damage. Oh no, they're just trying to spot each other because Wunderwear wants to push out this lane. So Trashy's just gonna sit around the lane and allow him to do it.
Yep. And
Amazing is trying to get up there and punish Wunderwear when he's pushing the lane.
Yeah, Wunderwear's still rocking that pretty sizable CS lead. And
I mean, you're playing Quinn into GP, alright? You have to be able to push that one early and be a bit of a bully.
See if he can definitely get some more impact early as it stands. That lead mostly stemming from the first blood in the mid. Sencux, that man you see on your screen, burning his flash in a desperate attempt to escape. Wasn't quite able to pull it out, and still the teams continued to just take the lane phase as it is.
Yeah, and such a big problem for him that he died to that gank. Not only because he gives up a kill, but also the fact that he was forced back to base without enough gold to actually buy anything meaningful. So if you look at his items right now, he has boots. Doesn't really give him a whole lot in this lane because he has distortion right now. Double thorns as well because he couldn't go for blasting one to get towards that Abyssal Scepter. The PowerOfEvil now completed, so big difference in power in that lane right now. One is due to the kill.
Yep.
Another one is due to the fact that he was forced back at the poor times. Obviously extra gold for PowerOfEvil with the first blood.
It was very encouraging for PowerOfEvil to be able to roll off of this one if it shows that he's able to do a lot against the Splyce team on the Ahri pickup. It definitely shows that OG are a little bit more validated with allowing him to go on that, since we've only really seen him shine on utility picks. A lot of that being the team as well. But it'll be nice to see how that works as the Gangplank ulti comes out to clear the wave away from Kobbe.
Look at the minimap. Origen is making the exact same play they did 2 minutes ago. They push out bot lane, instant recall with both Zven and Mithy, and then they just swap topside. You're gonna see Amazing now move up as well to join the team or be around them in case a fight happens, and this is just to constantly try and chip away damage on towers. They just need a few seconds for Zven to deal enough damage to have made an impact, and that's why they keep pushing out lanes and swapping them around.
Amazing is even going to get the Herald in it also. Totally unanswered by Splyce. Nice pickup. They get even more gold in their pocket. It's only 11 minutes into the game, but they're making moves in the macro department.
And a lot of this comes from the fact that Zven and Mithy are able to push out the wave 2v2 when they fight against Kobbe and Nisbeth. So it allows them to recall without losing too much and giving too much time for Splyce, and then rotate top lane. They will trade. They got the Rift Herald though
eventually
for themselves, so Kobbe gets this tower.
Kobbe gets a little bit more gold in his pocket for that one. Splyce will still be waiting for that Trinity Force power spike. Fairly solid mid-game across the board for this team. LeBlanc really can get rolling at that point, but Sencux has definitely got to be able to start making plays, and the last time he tried ended in disaster. On the other hand, we're just have a pretty nice power spike. You take a look at the GP and the Tristana, there's going to be so much poke, so many...
late game.
Yeah, very late game. That's what I'm talking about. But you got the Nidalee right now. They have the Ahri to come online. Already got a kill in the pocket. I really like the scaling that this has.
Yeah, big difference though in the mid game. Splyce is definitely going to be a lot stronger in an all-in fight, which is what they were drafting for. They see GP come in first. You know it's a slower scaling champion in a very fast-paced meta. And then you pick champions who can very quickly have a big impact in the game and obviously be a threat against GP, who's going to sit in a side lane for most of the game farming.
Yeah.
And that's why they have the Quinn as well for Wunderwear. He just needs to show up on it.
He does indeed. Wunderwear definitely has something to prove, as he came in fairly hot considering how well he performed in Challenger in the last year, but really has had trouble adjusting to the LCS against some very, very strong top laners. Soaz, however, this split hasn't been one of them, in all honesty. But, you know, right now on this GP, he's definitely getting a chance once again. The Splyce team across the board, though, they're keeping pace with Origen to a degree. They were able to answer back a tower. At the very least, they're making a few more moves, and they've got some vision lighting up the Origen jungle. So it's not like they're totally ignorant of what is going on this game. Just want to see Sencux come online, though, since that seems to be the optimal strat for this team.
Yeah, that's a problem because he fell behind. Whenever you have these matchup this team. Mithy's going aggressive top, TP coming in as well.
Gets that knock up, an exhaust is spent, the GP ult is used. They are full committing to this, and Kobbe knows he's a dead man here, trying to get some damage, but he's hammered into the wall, and Zven will burn the heal. That's a pickup as Power gets Nisbeth off screen, but all of a sudden Splyce are trying to make moves mid.
If they can get a mid tower here, they will even out some of the gold, but they won't be able to because he was on full HP. There have been no damage dealt in this mid lane because of the fact that PowerOfEvil has been doing more than fine. So double teleport play, resulting in 2 kills. Looking good for Origen so far, and they didn't lose anything in return.
No, Splyce just a little bit too slow to react as Origen make big plays up top and grab themselves a little bit more gold lead. Extended to about 2,000 there as Soaz steps forward, takes a huge chunk of damage for that parley, but eats an orange and it's K.
Very clearly a play Origen already planned a few minutes ago. They took down that tier 1 top tower, so they knew if Splyce stays up top and pushes out the wave, they're gonna overextend. They had a ward placed behind them. You can see the pink ward is about to be cleared by Nisbeth now on your minimap. And they're basically just waiting for Splyce to overextend top. You can't react to double teleport as quickly, obviously. Yeah. And OG picks up the 2 kills, knowing that they had pushed out the other lanes and couldn't lose anything else. So very well played. And we're still early enough in the game that you don't get punished for using both your globals. If you do that later in the game, you don't gain anything. That's obviously a big problem. Yeah. But now it's perfectly fine for Origen to do.
Sencux clears the wave and sends the PowerOfEvil's way. Some power spikes coming in here. You can see the Trinity Force finished for the Tristana. And then the Triforce finished, or rather, excuse me, other way around. Trinity Force finished for the Gangplank, and the Infinity Edge finished for Tristana.
You said it right. You were spot on.
Yeah. Eventually, PowerOfEvil charms up Wunderwear on the run, has to Spirit Rush, but he is safe. Meanwhile, 3 Splyce members were whomping on that top turret, will be able to secure it, but in the bottom, the same is happening with Zven. No one is contesting the second tier, though, until Soaz shows up. See if he can push them off. He should be able to with 1 barrel, but he's got to be careful, taking a lot of damage. Comes Trashy as well, gets knocked against the wall, and he might be regretting that decision. There goes a flash.
Yeah, Splyce here punishing the fact that Soaz didn't have his ulti ready. Otherwise, that could have cleared out the wave, but obviously knowing the cooldown on it. So well played by Splyce getting that tower. Again, they're trading. This opens up these side lanes now for Wunderwear to really shine on a Quinn, using that extra mobility. It's actually fairly easy to gank a Gangplank compared to a Quinn with how fast she can escape on these side lanes.
Very true. Safe split pusher comparatively, but Soaz can rely on his barrels to zone and do a whole ton of damage. Remember, Soaz was one of those top Gangplank innovators if you go all the way back. Yeah. And even though he's been having a rough split so far, if he can keep rolling on the Gangplank the way he's been, he can definitely put out a good performance this game as the first dragon is easily picked up by OG. Again,
Soaz's job for the next 10-15 minutes is actually just to sit and farm minions in his lane, have his ulti ready. If Splyce is trying to make a cross-map play with a big minion wave to push in a tower, you just use the Gangplank ulti to stop that. So he's very good at buying time for himself as a champion to allow him to scale up the late game. He has to farm. Right now he's farming at the moment. He has 2 assists. Still takes a bit of time before he's going to be super powerful.
There goes that package use. Looked like it was close to running out as the Rift Herald might be on the menu for Splyce, but it is not safe at the moment with amazing prowling through the jungle. 101 is his scoreline, and he's looking to add to it. Spear dodged by the Splyce members.
And now for Splyce, when you're playing against double teleport, which is going to be up very soon for Origen, it is so key that you're at the minion waves first in the side lanes, because you need to be the one who's pushing the side lane down to the enemy tier 2 tower, so they're stuck defending it and not able to make a TP play where you're not able to follow. Because when LeBlanc sits against Ahri, if LeBlanc is forcing the Ahri down to a tower, Ahri has to defend. That's good. If LeBlanc is too slow, Ahri gets a chance to push out her wave and then make a TP play on the other side of the map where LeBlanc cannot follow and cannot gain anything. So it's very important Splyce are first at the side lanes and playing them very aggressive. You want to hit the minion waves very early. You don't want to let them push down to your side of the map. You want to attack them. You want to use Trashy and Nisbeth to get deep vision to allow you to get very aggressive with how fast to push. Nice interrupt by Mithy here.
Yeah, good use of the steadfast presence there now. Tower very low. OG should be able to push it down sooner or later, but they have sent PowerOfEvil to the bottom. He's got a minion wave at his back if Sencux can defend here.
Well, now we're at the point where OG has gotten time to push up their wave. So PowerOfEvil now is actually a global threat, because he doesn't have to stay bot lane, and he can use his teleport now to create a big numbers advantage for Origen, if a play happens. We talked about what's going to happen mid lane. Corki is not able to clear the waves fast enough to stop a Tristana from getting some damage on tower. So Tristana combined with Nidalee would be such a pain for Splyce to stop. Another reason why them falling behind on the map might actually lose them the game already now.
Yeah, a lot of siege and poke on this side, but thanks to the Ahri and the Poppy as well, they've got a lot of options, even the Nidalee too, to just catch and poke, or to just catch and take them down early enough, and they really have. We know Origen is a team that likes to skirmish early and often. It hasn't worked out all the time for them this split, but the way things are going, they could be cruising to another victory here.
Yeah, now guys from Splyce are waiting for Wunderwear's TP to be back up, so he can actually start playing aggressive up in his side lane. He has Ghost Blade, so he's very strong at this point. And what Splyce is doing mid now is also very key. Look how early they're clearing the minions. They're not waiting for the wave to push down into mid lane and then they take it slowly. They walk really far up, clear the wave as fast as possible to keep the pressure on Origen and the vision, and allow themselves to walk into the jungle and set up vision themselves. This is the key step for them. Once TP is ready from Wunderwear, you're going to see LeBlanc time to try to be more aggressive on bot side and push that one out, so PowerOfEvil cannot leave the lane.
Yep, on the other hand, Soaz has also got his TP, and he's got his global ultimate up. They could turn the tables number-wise in that regard. OG still with the gold lead, even on towers and one dragon ahead, but it is not that huge as we see Baron entering the rift 20 minutes into the game. That is the signal for it. Power still dueling it out with Sencux, who jumps in and jumps back.
But the fact that he fell behind in lane and PowerOfEvil is an item ahead of him is again enough to break the composition Splyce are playing.
Yeah,
because if he's not able to win this 1v1 and push out PowerOfEvil, then Splyce can never make a play on the map. Because then PowerOfEvil, as I've said like 5 times now, he will just TP in behind them and kill them, and the LeBlanc can't follow. So the fact this is a losing matchup now due to how the early gank happened is really, really bad for Splyce and makes it so difficult to play the map now, and it should just give Origen full control.
I think they're going to really have to rely heavily on Wunderwear this game, and if he can start the split push and keep the pressure, he can draw enough attention away. The problem is that double TP. It's so hard to do against that, not to mention the global ulti that Gangplank's bringing. It is such a risk to give up a champion like Gangplank, especially to someone like Soaz who has a pedigree on that champion. Let's see what they can do to try and get back into this one. Still a little early to look for that Baron, but Origen are looking for securing as much vision as they can and keeping Splyce outside of the river, and the minion waves pushed in.
Origen is just waiting for side lane to push, and then they can start moving up mid. And they can start doing what Splyce was supposed to do. Catch the minion waves very early in the lane, get a few wards in the enemy jungle, and start putting pressure on these tier 2 towers, where Splyce is just not able to really react and do a whole lot against them. Also with the scaling of Origen, Gangplank, Tristana, you talked about it yourself, Pyra. That late game scaling is super, super scary.
Yeah, it'll still be a little while before that comes completely online, but we're 21.5 minutes in. Remember, we are having a little bit of trouble with the Dragon timer, but it's about a minute away. Splyce, as a team, have not really been particularly solid at that buff. They've given up so many more. 21 now into this game and only secured 5, I believe, is the number for themselves. But Origen have been actually pretty solid on Dragon control, even though most teams aren't considering it a huge buff.
Yeah, Dragon is not exactly the most exciting thing.
Not anymore. Well, we got Rift Herald, we got Baron.
We got all good stuff.
Even the jungle camps are more exciting than Dragon, but you know, he's getting a little old dusty at this point.
It's all about pushing towers, man. It's all about pushing towers. And you can see Zven is up top trying to do that. 2v1 with the Nidalee, buff him up, let him go ham on the tower. Splyce needs to react to this one. But this is just a lot of free damage for Origen. And they're not losing anything on the map. That's the worst part, because Splyce is pushed too far back. And again, the composition relied so much on winning the lanes and solo lanes. They lost the mid lane. Yeah. And the air is kind of dropping out of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big question mark for Splyce. And yeah, Origen are definitely more on the uptick, especially this game. But you look at Splyce as a team, they started off with some pretty hefty losses. They managed to pick up a few wins on the board, but are they really improving? That's the question. I mean, in week 3, they beat Giants, but pretty much everybody has. Then they lost to Fnatic. Week 4, 2 losses, HCK and G2. Okay, those are tough teams, but are they really showing improvement?
Let's see what happens here, Pyra, first. Wunderwear, he didn't want that trade at all.
Flashed it.
They have no control there of their own jungle on Splyce side, so he didn't actually realize the Mason was still sitting there. But about Origen improving, it's so difficult because they can look super good against the bottom teams again. I mean, say like, oh, Origen, great communication, shot calling coming in. We gotta judge them on the performance against the top teams right now. And that's where they haven't been able to pick up a whole lot of wins.
Right.
So it's tough to say how much team is improving, but for them, honestly, they started out so poorly. But almost anything for Origen is an improvement. And it's for them, it's time. Time. Get back into the meta, you know, get your practice going, try to solve out your coaching issue maybe. And then I know Origen is looking to just be strong at playoffs. They are not really too concerned about the current performance.
They'll definitely have some time. They have some trust built up. But how about Splyce? Newcomers in here. Have had a rough time. And if there is a team they have to beat that is sitting in the middle of the table, I feel like, I mentioned this before picks and bans, this is one of them. I'm in Elements pretty much.
I guess it's about beating Elements, Rocket, and Giants for Splyce right now. And try and stay as close to top 6 as possible. And then see if you can break in towards the end of the split to get into the playoff spot. For them, I feel like Splyce just always makes it harder for them. This is what we talked about in the pick and ban phase. They're playing so many different champions, different comps. This comp here is super hard for him to execute, and like one mistake, and it becomes so difficult. Like, Splyce haven't had any map pressure for the last 10 minutes because they lost that mid lane and they can double teleport.
I mean, you think that comes from the youth of the team, the inexperience of the team? Only Trashy, out of all these players, has had a full split of LCS experience under his belt. Sencux and Wunderwear are barely eligible. Yeah,
being young and new, obviously you need to build up the experience. I think maybe when it comes to Yamato Cannon's vision, I know he really is a fan of like a lot of these very strong meta picks like Quinn, which is a fantastic pick if you can play correctly, like the Rek'Sai as an example. The problem is, your team might not be able to execute it properly. Then again, we don't know what happens in scrims. Maybe this team is destroying everyone in the scrims, and these kind of compositions are working all the time. Just haven't been the same on stage.
Definitely a team still trying to prove itself. Splyce trying to hold back Origen, but it is getting harder and harder with Zven in the top and constant visits to the bottom by PowerOfEvil, who is having a much better game than we have seen from him on a Assassin-y champion. Still, scoring Ahri last time he played, they did manage to secure a win in that one, so maybe it's a good luck charm for him.
And we can just see what Origen keep doing. They're just basically holding hands across all lanes. And just saying, as long as we're all three pushing in every lane, Splyce can't really make a play anywhere and just enable Zven to hit a tower. That's basically the entire composition. If Zven in a lane where there's a tower he can hit, then you're doing something correct.
Well, and Splyce have shown, among other things, that they've had a lot of trouble when teams slowly squeeze them out. That happened in the very long Fnatic game a few weeks back. And it's happening again. Not a good sign for them. Zven backs away while in enemy territory. Splyce trying to clear out some vision, but they are losing ground very fast this game. 4 towers to 3 may not look like that much of a difference, but it's starting to get bigger.
But because of that, I want to see Trashy actually lead this mid lane. He's been sitting there with his team, trying to play the same 1-3-1 as before.
Uh-oh. Soaz. Oh! Chains on! He's caught! He's gonna get healed, but he's still taken down by Trashy.
So, I was about to say, I want to see Trashy leave the lane and go down with the LeBlanc and try and make a 2v1 play. To like,
predicted it.
To like force something, not at all, because it was the LeBlanc walking mid instead. The point was just Splyce had to do something different now. If you keep doing the same split push, it's not going to work against double TP, so you got to break up that lane and make a play somewhere, and that's what they did. Soaz is the one getting caught out. He goes down, and this stops Origen from setting Zven up to hit a tower.
Big Raptor not worth. Soaz still down for another 12 seconds as Wunder is TPing, and he stopped courtesy of the Poppy. Mithy wants to pick him up, but he's got some friends. He's brought to it, and he walked into the wrong neighborhood.
At least go into the bush if you want to try and TP away from a Poppy. Mithy uses flash, gets a kill, so it's the return. Baron is alive actually, 27 minutes in. OG can start the Baron now
for it
and just start a team fight. Kobbe is almost out of mana on this Corki here.
Oh, it would be such a hard contest. Now, Zven isn't here. This is the one problem for Splyce, or rather for Origen, as Trashy, Nisbeth, and Kobbe have rounded up the posse here to try and push him back. Barrels and Gangplank gold. Send out the Braum ult.
Oh, he missed
just waiting. No, they're looking to just finish it off. Mithy goes for it. This is oh so low. He gets smarted away by Amazing, and the fight is on. Mithy's gone down as Soaz just gets blown up.
So we have seen Origen struggle around Barons before, making that correct call, or everyone agreeing on the call. I like the overall Baron here from Origen. I didn't like the way they tried to execute it. Mithy tried to do everything he could to force Trashy away. He put up his W to stop the Burrow coming in. Zven is...
Whoa, okay.
Not bad.
Still has that Baron buff.
Mithy completely missed his ulti. Activated his W a little bit too early, so he didn't actually block Trashy at any point, and it became very messy. The team were kind of saying like, don't risk it. Well, how can we stop Trashy from coming in? In the end, they get Baron, so it's a good call. But they give us, because like, look at Mithy here. So he's gonna charge up his ulti to try and knock Trashy away, so he can't smite it in just about a second. So he charges up the ulti, actually fires it through the wall, doesn't hit Trashy. Then he tries, he actually did block it, so kudos to Mithy. I take that back. He did stop Trashy from getting in with the Burrow. That was good. You can't stop the flash. That's gonna happen.
No. And they lost Soaz on the back of it. Sencux sensed his opportunity and grabbed a kill. So all said and done, take stock of where we are right now. 29 minutes on the clock. See OG secured another dragon in all of that replay action. They did lose 2 members with Baron buff, but that means they still got 3. And Splyce still have troubles. 4,500, nearly 5K is the gold lead for OG right now.
I'm sorry, Mithy. Called him out for nothing. He did miss the ulti, but he tried to sneak it through the wall, see if he can knock him away. But a good block with his W. OG picks up Baron. They can continue pushing. Splyce doesn't really have a whole lot they can do in the map. Zven?
He is going to have to get his jump on, and Amazing and Mithy are the ones caught in a bunch of members of Splyce, but not enough follow-up damage available, and it is Splyce that is beating a hasty retreat as OG regroup, looking for mid-tier 2. See if they can get it.
I'll just set up Zven to get a few hits on tower with the bomb, and then you can do it wave after wave.
Soaz hanging around on the back, just trying to keep the barrels on, but they can only get half the tower before the minion wave expires. They've sent Wunderwear, Splyce has, to deal with this minions on the bottom side and get it pushing, but he changes his mind, actually. Goes right on back through it. You can see Amazing.
Tower's gone.
Looking for a flank. That tower is done.
Yeah, Splyce has to get a flank with Quinn and LeBlanc to do something here. There are wards around Origen, though, and they can see all the members.
Yeah, Sencux can't get in and just blow somebody up at this point and feel like his time is pretty much run out. It's 30 minutes on the clock there. Tower going low. Sencux looking to try to pull the assassination. He only nails Mithy with the Sigil of Malice, and they're right back to it. It's the slow burn this game.
Tower going down again. Look at Mithy charging up his ulti just to
knock
force Splyce away, and then he even gets in a
by Sencux. See you in a minute as Nisbeth goes in, gets the Braum ulti, but it hits no one. They did manage to defend the inhibitor, however, for the time being. Baron buff still on, and Dragon has come back up. So I was wrong about them getting Dragon, apparently. Must have gotten it earlier.
It's okay. They're not going to go 5 dragons anyway.
No, they might get 3, though.
Oh,
3 objective.
this
maybe
is
not,
a chance for Splyce to fight, actually, around dragons. Or it's not really worth it for Origen to risk anything. They can just give over the dragon. Yes, you give the 1 buff, the 6%.
Important one.
But your job is to push in towers anyway. Maybe Soaz can steal it.
Oh! Okay, tried for the barrels. Amazing tried for the spears, but Splyce were able to secure their first. A little bit of battle stats. They got to send Wunderwear up to the top side to deal with that minion wave, but they have a momentary breather.
The problem for Splyce is they don't need time to chill. Time has run out, basically, for them, but...
Yep. Mid-game team, for the most part.
They were still looking to be more aggressive even now, trying to, like, push out these lanes, because they're basically forced into a team fight against a 4-item Tristana at this point. A Poppy who's there trying to block everything coming in towards the Tristana. Mithy's just sitting next to Zven with his W. That's all he's doing.
And Sencux tries for the assassination attempt on
Does have a lot of damage.
Didn't quite secure it, but yeah, he does have quite a lot. Didn't nail everything on his combo. But look, they're falling back into predictable patterns here. Wunderwear has been on wave clear duty. He's gotten a ton of CS, yes, but he's not doing anything with it.
Well, I mean, this is on Splyce as a team. And it's also even more on the mid lane, falling behind to that gank.
Fast bird.
And then your composition just relying so much on getting ahead in the early game. It becomes hard to do more than just farm. And then it took Splyce like a long time before they made that one aggressive play mid that gave a kill. That's something we could have seen earlier. But apart from that, it's so difficult for them to do anything. And Origen, yes, they lost 2 kills at Baron, but it was the right call. And they've been using it.
Yeah. It's the right call. They have had some troubles as Mithy winds up the hammer and knocks Trashy away. as Origen were able to secure that tower, and the barrels pop to cover their retreat path. Still the slow burn this game, but it's about to get hot as Wunderwear's taken out. Zven picks up a big one, and he knocks him back with a buster shot. Wunderwear is toast.
That's the problem again for Splyce. They want to flank. They never want to engage just head on. PowerOfEvil with a great charm here. Been having a good game so far. Picks up a very easy kill. And allowing Origen to stay. Keep pushing down. Another inhib.
Yeah.
It's open on top side.
They're way out of position here. You see Sencux trying to push in the middle, but he's got to back away. Trashy there to defend. Take a look at the two coaches right now. Yamato's definitely got to be worrying about this trend. Peke on his side, interim coach for Origen. Be a little happy that so far so good for this team. Award-winning smile on his face.
Yeah, he's getting everything he wants. OG.
Careful, Zven. Mithy takes a lot of damage, actually flashes away from the chains, and Trashy eats an Orb of Deception, but not so much damage on that very tanky Rek'Sai. He has been the front line, but he has not been able to be in the right position for Splyce to start these fights.
Baron should be up in about 45 seconds time. And that means for Origen, that's obviously the next objective. But
Splyce just want to get turrets though, man.
It is, again, a chance for Splyce to potentially get a fight, because they're actually here first now. If they can set up their own pink ward and allow both Quinn and LeBlanc to have one bush they can hide in to get a flank, they might be able to one-shot Zven. We saw the damage before. Hexdrinker is going to make it a little bit more difficult, though.
Baron will be very soon, by the way, if you're wondering why everyone's hanging around it. So, still, a lot of wave clear sent up topside for Splyce. Origen are focusing on the bottom just to reset it all.
A mistake here, honestly, from Splyce. They walk in, they set up the pink wards, trying to set up a potential chance for them to do something. But then they leave it, because they're like, okay, we did step one, set up for Baron. Now we need to recall because we have to, get items, get new wards and whatever. The problem is that just allowed Origen to walk back in. Let's see mid lane though.
Yeah, there's that fight. There goes the Gangplank ulti, and all of a sudden, Splyce the one's taking a whole lot of damage backing away, and the TP in for PowerOfEvil meant that they could turn the tables and pick up for Amazing. Power shut down on the back half, but it may not be nearly enough. The double kill for Amazing. Wunderwear is not going to get out of this one. It's so low already. Mithy looks to chase him down with the help of Zven. It is a 3-4-1. Sencux on the run. Can he get away from this one? His clone's in the middle. It's so far. There we go. But that should be Baron for OG.
And imagine if we had that fight around the Baron instead, where Splyce had just placed a few pink wards to set up their assassins to actually get a flank. Instead, they placed the pink wards, they left the Baron, OG walked back in, cleared the wards, put up their own, and then took a fight straight in the mid lane where they could see everyone. That ruins again the purpose of what Splyce wanted to try and do, and they're one of their only comebacks potential they could have had. But that's always the problem, right? Because you rush out after the play and then you put up the pings and then you can't really do anything. But this is just an open fight in mid. Notice how hard it is for Splyce to get onto Zven. He's still full HP. The BT shield is not proc or anything. So the carries are not able to get onto Zven, who's the main damage dealer. Because PowerOfEvil is the guy just like buying time basically for his AD carry now. One hit they got from Wunderwear onto Zven, breaking his shield. That really mattered, and that was basically it.
Yeah. Not the greatest thing to start when you catch the Poppy either. They did manage to shut down PowerOfEvil, but not before the fight was already over. With that, gold lead extends to 8K, but let's see if Splyce can turn it around here. Not making a move.
Blue trinket.
Yay, that mechanic as Mithy knocks Nisbeth against the wall. Unbreakable, but really is he having to burn his flash? OG are just so far out in front. Said it was open in the mid, it might be open bot in just a minute. Tower's going down, 37 minutes on the clock. Origen are looking to march ahead and get themselves a winning record on the board here in Europe.
Yeah, the blue trinket really ruined the death trap. Old strategy we've seen so much. Used to spot them and then Splyce back into the base. Tower is down. Currently we're seeing almost full items on the Tristana.
If they want to engage, it has to be a desperation move soon and now, but it is so hard for them to fight. Zven, no summoners on that Tristana, but that jump is still available if they can get a pick off before this tower goes down. No, it's not going to happen. There's the Braum ulti. They catch on to Mithy here, but Nisbeth and Trashy are so low. An Amazing jumps forward. Kobbe has to rocket backwards. That inhibitor's gone, and they are bleeding out here. OG looking to soon close this one out, but they're going to do it the safe way. 2 inhibs down, they back off.
Yeah, again, you're getting everything. No reason to risk it. Zven always is backing away from the fight before the engage happens from Splyce, and PowerOfEvil is the guy trying to get some attention. Soaz, I mean, we have a Gangplank, by the way. We haven't talked about him I don't know how long, because...
And he's relevant now.
His job is just to basically zone and allow the Tristana to deal damage over and over. But it does mean Origen have so much extra damage we're not even looking at. PowerOfEvil can also one-shot almost any of the squishies on Splyce's side. Showing how difficult it is. So, like, unless you set up that trap, which got blocked by the blue trinket, or you had that setup around Baron, where you kind of left your, in my opinion, only chance of really getting a team fight in your advantage. It's nitpicking because Splyce are so far behind, it's almost impossible for them to come back.
Origen are definitely using their tools quite a lot better. Amazing as well on that AP Nidalee. Has caused a whole lot of problems for Splyce. Opposite number, Trashy has been trying to be the tank they need, but just has not been able to stop or really start any fights for Splyce. That Death Trap notwithstanding their attempt to stop it, but with the League of Blue Trinkets, it is very difficult to pull that maneuver off. 39 minutes now is the game time, and Origen looking to hit the end game. For them, it is a march straight into base.
Just make sure if you're Origen, this is also why, by the way, they're sitting on 4 blue trinkets, something we don't see that often. It's just to constantly spot the sides if Splyce is setting up a trap with a LeBlanc or Quinn. So the only way for Origen, again, to lose the fights is if they get flanked and Zven gets instant help. So as long as they keep checking the sides with all these blue trinkets, Splyce can't really flank them. And we just see, like, all the way up in mid lane, there's just wards on each side. And now you're at the base where flanking is almost impossible.
Big rock.
A lot of damage.
Does a lot, but Amazing does have a heal. They dodged the Braum Q, and now with a whole bunch of minions pushing in the bottom side, hard pressed to defend this inhibitor. Nisbeth steps up and body blocks it with his shield. Around the side, Sencux looks to assassinate Soaz. Not enough damage as he eats an orange off the back of it. This inhib is going down. One more hit from Zven. Splyce are being squeezed even harder here. And Origen look for the next best thing. It's going to be up on top side, the last remaining inhibitor. They're coming for it.
Yeah, and once again, just put a few wards behind you. I like what Splyce are doing now. Push out mid, allow you to actually walk into your jungle that way from mid lane potentially to have that flank. But everything is warded, so Origen can see everything happening, and that's why Zven is so confident just walking up, hitting the tower.
This is late game Tristana. Nisbeth trying to stop it from happening.
He stole the bomb.
Oh boy.
That's good. I mean, he's
good defense right now.
Bought a little bit of damage on tower.
But it just feels like the time is running out for this team. There's another spear hits Nisbeth in the back. Sencux tries to step forward, but he takes a lot as he fires onto Zven, who rocket jumps backwards. Aftermath there. Still staying safe, but they've got to send Wunderwear back to the bottom side. Trashy looking for that flank, but they're wise to these tricks. Anyway, very clear. Nisbeth very low. Gangplank ulti on, and Power goes in, sensing his time is now, but he doesn't have enough damage to finish it off. It may not matter here as they find Trashy, pin him against the wall. Zven with a big pop to kill him. Wunderwear gets his shield proc, but it's not gonna matter. Inhibitor tower should be going down here without Trashy. The tank is gone. Sencux goes in for a desperate attempt, gets exhausted, turns around, puts the chains on, but he has to back out. Kobbe is down. Holy crit! And Zven is jumping and running wild. The tower is gonna fall. A double kill for the Tristana. This is gonna be all over as PowerOfEvil leads the charge. They chase the line down. They want to pad those stats, and they get one more. Thank you, Power. He's on my fantasy team. One more tower down. One more Nexus to go. 42 minutes, just shy, and Origen with another win. Calm, cool, and collected in victory. As Origen have definitely started to find a little bit more of that strategic smart team that we saw last year.
Well, a game where Origen felt in control, for sure, for almost the entire game long. With the double teleport, the early advantage that could have been built up by Splyce with having an Ignite in the mid lane, a good matchup with the LeBlanc. Never happened due to a good gank from Amazing as well. And it honestly just made Origen slowly but surely win the game. And it was all about Origen just not making a big mistake and just slowly just playing out with double TP in side lanes.
Yeah. And that was pretty much it. Yamato goes back on to commiserate with the Splyce team. Only 2 wins for that squad, but a very young squad that did their best to try and turn this one around, but when your main carry doesn't get rolling, what can you do? As Peke, the interim coach, the owner, leader of this organization, very happy with that
100% win rate.
Yes, he is.
As a coach.
And no turtleneck.
No, I like
But
it.
Yamato does look good.
I like it, yeah.
He does look
sure.
good. Not a knock against that man, for sure.
But yeah, again, for Splyce, I feel so often we see some of these compositions which are taken from other teams around the world as well. And they try and execute some of the very tough ones where there's very little room for mistakes. And then that one mistake happen or the two mistakes happen in the early game. And everything kind of falls apart and becomes a very uphill battle. Again, Quinn is a fantastic pickup in the top lane. If you are able to utilize how strong a split pushing is and set her up to split push, once you play against double TP and your other laners fall behind, Quinn can never do anything really, because once she goes aggressive, she gets TP'd on and dies, and like that's it. So super, super difficult for Splyce to execute some of these comps they're running. And that is one of the reasons they tend to fall behind, and we have these games where it never really feels like Splyce are in the game.
Yeah.
Against some of these top 6 teams, still, you said it yourself, it's a very young team, some players who's just learning, and the overall goal for this team now must be to just avoid going into relegation.
Yeah, try to push yourself if you can maybe break into that 6th place spot moving forward. I mean, we still got half a split to go, that's for sure. But if they can get 7th, if they can avoid relegation, it'll definitely be great for them, and it's a good learning experience coming in. Not every team